G'day guys, welcome to another design team layout for Crazy Craft Obsession. Now I actually bought this paper in a previous collection, like last month, but I got it from Crazy Craft Obsession and I had this idea that I wanted to create this kind of half and half border. Now I'm scrapbooking some photos that were taken on Jen's last day of primary school. If you're new to my channel, Jen is my youngest of 3 daughters, and it was really good because they were all there this day and they had all been to the same primary school. And Jen was walking out on her last day, so I got them to all jump for joy at the gate that we are finished with primary school and we're moving on to bigger and better things. So basically I pulled out this sheet of paper. This was my last piece of this particular collection, and it's the Cocoa Vanilla Storyteller, and this piece is DITSY Daisy. That's what the paper's called. Now, I don't always go for a pretty floral. That's not always me, okay? But every so often I do it, and every so often I sort of go, yeah, let's do it. Let's just go flowers, and I don't do a lot of that. So when they pop up, enjoy them because I don't do them a lot. Now, I ended up pulling out. So what I ended up doing is I cut myself a kind of half and half sheet, but I've given myself a border around the edge. Now, I didn't want to add additional colors or anything to it, so I've grabbed myself the Distress Oxide color, Chipped Sapphire. Now, this is a pretty dark blue. You've got to, when it comes to really dark colors like this, you've got to be confident that you can pull this off. Now, this particular page, I'm cleaning it up as I go because it's such a dark color, guaranteed my clunky fingers will put it all over the white bit for sure. But this is where I sort of run into a little bit of a hiccup. I should have trimmed the sides down first and then cut my little window in it, but it's okay, it works, it's not a problem. What I decided to do was distress the edges all the way around. Now, instead of using my edge distresser, I'm using the side of an old pair of scissors. Now, the reason I'm doing that is because my edge distresser likes to rip the daylights out of paper. And when I'm doing that, there's nothing wrong with the edge distresser. I'm sure I just go in there with a heavy hand. I'm sure it's user error. That being said, I also like to use the side of my old fussy cutting scissors because it's got a really square edge on it, and it grabs the paper but doesn't dig into it, which is really good. So I decided if I distress the edges of this, I might actually get away with the fact that it's not perfectly even all the way around in the border. You can see the border, but it's not perfectly even. And that's a little trick that quite a lot of people do. If they, for example, if they cut their, when they do a photo mat, and they might just use their scissors instead of a trimmer. I do it all the time. And it may not be perfectly plumb. They go along and distress the edges, and that way it looks like it's meant to be that way. And that is quite often why a lot of people distress in scrapbooking. Sometimes we like it for the texture, but I gotta say, if I'm being truthfully 100% transparent, it's usually to hide something. That's pretty much what it is. Texture, yes, but we like to hide stuff. Let's be frank. So with this particular layout, when I was off, I had the old spicy cough a week or so ago, and I couldn't sit in my craft room for anybody. I felt like death. It was awful. So I sat in the lounge room, and whilst I was having fevers on and off, I sat and fussy cut an entire sheet from this collection, and this one is called Spring Fling. And I just cut out the entire sheet because I was sitting on the couch and I felt lazy. I felt like I should have been doing something, but I couldn't do something. It was just, ugh. So I cut them all out. Now, I did that knowing that this is kind of what I had in my head when I ordered this particular paper. Sorry, I needed a drink. It is so hot here today. Oh. Joe, tell me, how hot is it? If you're watching this, I haven't heard from you for a little bit, but I tell you what, Brisbane and the north side of Brisbane, wow. Julie, how hot is it here today? It's crazy hot. Well, of course, I'm recording this a couple of days before you see it, so it's probably going to have cooled down by the time this pops up, but that's okay. So I am literally, this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to create, because it's Jen's last day. Jen, if you've been here for 5 minutes, you know that Jen loves flowers, specifically petunias. Yeah, none of these are petunias, but you know what? Flowers are flowers. And I thought, this is what I thought would look really good for her final day of school. And by cutting that chunk out of one side, obviously it's killed how busy the paper is, okay? It tones that right down, and it sort of looks like the photos are popping out from behind the paper. And I will be honest, I sort of jumped in and I started gluing these down before I really stopped and thought about the process of the paper. There's always a process, guys. Okay, so when you're creating your layout, if you've been here for 5 minutes, you will know that I usually follow a little bit of a system, and I'll figure out what I want to use. Do I want to use a stencil? Do I want to use die cuts? Do I want to use a sheet that I fussy cut? Do I want to use no florals or anything? Do I want to just go geometric? Like, you think of all that stuff first. Then you audition bits and pieces to see if it's what you want. And then you work out the process. Well, are the flowers and everything going to go on top of your mixed media? That's where my waffle is headed. Are they going to go on top of the mixed media? Yes, they're going to go on top of the mixed media. Have you noticed what is not on my page right now? Yep. Every time. I swear, every time I do a layout, and this is what I definitely want you guys to take away from this. Pretty much every single time I do a layout, there is a mistake somehow. Somehow I've done something and I've stuffed something up. And what I want you to take away from this is we all make mistakes. It doesn't matter that I use YouTube and I video what I do and all the rest of it. It doesn't matter. Guaranteed I will make simple mistakes. Now, my mistake here is not the fact that I'm putting the colour there. The colour's fine. I'm using my small, what are these called? Mini blending brushes, they're called. Now, if you want to know where they are, if you jump over onto my Facebook group, you can see I have them pinned at the very top. So you can access them and you can purchase your own. Or if you type into your search engine, be it Google or whichever you use, and you type in mini blending brush, they'll pop up. There's heaps of them. And when I bought mine like 6-7 weeks ago, there was not this many available, and now they seem to be everywhere. So what I'm doing is I was using the mini blending brush to start off with because I really wanted to concentrate the color right in the corner, but I didn't want to go over my border edges. So look, hindsight, it's a wonderful thing. Do your do your mixed media, do these bits before you glue everything down. It makes life so much easier and so much quicker. So I'm going through with my mini blending brush and I'm just lifting up the flowers just to add a little bit of, this is actually the Distress Oxide colour Scattered Straw. Now, I love this colour. I'm evolving with my Distress Oxides. Now, I'll be honest with you, I'm extremely privileged. I have got the whole lot of them, every single colour, and I used to always be drawn to mustard seed, everything. It was the only yellow I was interested in. And now I'm starting to sort of go, you know what? No, I reckon these other colours work as well. And this Scattered Straw, sneaking into my vocabulary a little bit more lately. There's been a couple of collections that have come out and yeah, I'm really liking them. So, and I'm liking the old Scattered Straw. So I'm hoping the next, I think it's Echo Park, maybe, or Simple Stories. Oh, I don't know, Cass is probably sitting there going, Karen, it's this one. I think maybe it's Echo Park. Okay, so here, just about very, very soon, you will see I learn and go, oh, stop, Karen. Geez, you're making this look really difficult. So I grabbed my larger blending tool, which is fantastic to use. Trust me, these things are the bomb.com. If you want to have seamless, beautiful, buttery blending, those brushes are the go. Trust me on it. If you don't mind waiting, you can get them dirt cheap from like AliExpress or whatever. I don't know. You can get them there. Actually, I think Crazy Craft Obsession do sell some of them. I know they've got the heart one. It's like a heart and it sits in, it's got its own little case. It's really cool. I never went down that path because I'm one of these people that have to have everything, and I would have needed to have bought probably 10 of them, maybe more, so that I've got one for each colour. Now this is how I'm going to mute out the pattern a little bit. I'm just putting the Scattered Straw across here. Now that's where I'm going to put my title. Okay. Now, I put quite a heavy hand, like I go to town on this to really get a good colour in the background. And see the difference? With that little mini blending brush, you can totally get under the flowers and it's not a problem. They are, again, I'm going to say it's probably one of my top five tools. Yes, and there you go. I just sprayed my photo with some gold mica spray. Now that is my homemade mica spray. I absolutely love it. There is a video there if you want to see how to make it. It is the best. So good. It dries super quick. None of the mica powder comes off. It is brilliant. Absolutely love it. Now this title is from the thicker set called Perfect Day. And these if you're after some thickers that will give you multiple titles, this is a really good set. Like I'm not even kidding. They actually are titles that we genuinely would use. When I say we, I mean Aussies, you know, like you genuinely would use these titles. Like it's a perfect day. This was a perfect day. That is a good title and it's nice and long, you know, instead of just saying perfect or today, you know, like some of those sometimes I find it really difficult to use the pre-made titles, and that's why I always use my Cricut. But honestly, that one worked a treat. I'm actually really happy with how this page turns out. I'm really, really happy with it. I sort of pushed the boundaries a little bit with using the chip sapphire. I thought there is another blue, I think Blueprint Sketch probably would have worked, or blue or Faded Jeans maybe. would have worked really well with it, but I wanted to go a bit darker, and I really like how it turned out. Let me know below what you think, if you think it worked really well, or if you think, nah, Karen, you missed the mark big time. Let me know what you think. Now, I do come in here with some liquid pearls. I use copper pearl, I use marigold, white opal, and I come in with a little tiny bit of glossy accents at the end. Now, the tool that I'm using is a MARTE paint and sculpture tool. It is one that I picked up from a million years ago. It's got like a silicone tip on the end of it, and whatever medium you're using, it's not like a brush, it's just a silicone tip. So I used to make wedding cakes and stuff. It's one of those things, you know, when you do like dots and stuff, like with your ink, you know, and you get your runs with your icing, it allows you to do that in the center of a flower, and they look really, really pretty. If you want to see the close-up photos, jump over on my Facebook or my Instagram, and there will be some over there. Facebook group is probably better for the photos, but if you don't use Facebook, jump over to the old Insta and have a look there. So I'm just adding some pearl into the center of these flowers, just sort of making them come alive a little bit. I curled up the leaves a tiny bit. I've just adding some little bits of bling to bring it alive. We know that I love my bling. Now, I will give a shameless plug here, guys. If you have not already subscribed to my channel, trust me, you're going to want to do it, because when we get to 1,500 subscribers, I'm going to start a giveaway, and you are going to want to be involved. It is worldwide. It's not just for Australia and New Zealand at this point. It will be for everybody, because I promised you, if you allowed me to monetize my channel and tolerate the ads for me, I would give back for that. And that is what we're going to do with 1,500 subscribers. It's going to be awesome, and you're going to love it. So if you have any friends or family that enjoy scrapbooking just like you, and you want them to have a look at it, share it around. Share my page, share my channel. And now I'm just doing a border around the border. It needed a bit more black. I have a bit of a rule. Whenever I use black or whatever is the darkest color that I'm using, it has to appear on my layout at least 3 times. So you can see the photos are quite dark. There's like black parts in the photo. The title's got black in it, but that's it. So I just came in with a bit of black. It is my Uniball Signo gel grip pen. It's, what do they call it? I'm trying to think of it off the top of my head because I didn't write it down. See, I write everything down. If I don't write it down, then I forget it. It is called the Gel Impact Pen, and it is a 1.0 millimeter, and it is made by Uniball, and it's called a Gel Impact. Here is the close-ups, guys. What do you reckon? Do you reckon it's a yeah? Or is it a nah, pass? You didn't do it. You didn't get it. I really like the flowers. I love these Cocoa Vanilla Studio flowers. I like their flowers. They seem more realistic, and they're not gigantic. So I'm just pointing out the bits in the middle, all the little shiny bits, the little gold dots that I sort of tucked underneath just to add that metallic glitter shine in the background. And that's it, guys. I'm so glad. I hope you stuck around, and I will chat to you again soon. Bye for now.